Good day. Hello, CJ and Denise and CW. Hope you're well. Is everything in focus? Seems like it's out of focus unless it's my eyes. Today is April 27th, 2025. And it is Sunday. And I'm trying to get back in order. I feel much better today. Thank you for your prayers and your concerns. I changed the title, or I added to the title for today because I thought it important that we read the real third secret of Fatima. The only place that it is available on the internet is at ourladyisgod.com. It is authenticated, and if you go there, you will be able to see the story about it and how it came about, etc. Let's see more. Hello. Who else do we have in there? Oh, good day, Truth Heart. How are you? And Sister Jeannie. Couple things, too, I wanted to touch on, but I'll do that right after we say the Good Day Rising prayer. So let's get there first, and then we'll get started. In nomine Dei, Matronam Nostra, et Deum Iesum Christum, et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Let us place ourselves in the presence of the Most Holy Trinity, and in Catholic contemplation humbly venerate the Divine Family. Most Holy and Venerable Trinity, one Divine Family, I believe that Thou art here present. I venerate Thee with the deepest humility. I render to Thee with my whole heart the homage which is due to Thee. O Most Holy Trinity, relying on Thine infinite goodness and promises, I hope to obtain pardon of my sins, the help of Thy grace, and life everlasting, through the merits of Deum Iesum Christum et Deum Matronam Nostrae. O Most Holy Trinity, I love Thee above all things with my whole heart and soul, because Thou art all good and worthy of all love. I love my neighbor as myself for love of Thee, and I forgive all who have injured me, and ask pardon of all whom I have injured. Let us thank the Most Holy Trinity for the many graces that we receive, and offer ourselves and our sufferings up to heaven, and for the souls in purgatory. O Most Holy Trinity, I most humbly thank Thee for all the favors Thou hast bestowed upon me to the present moment. It is again thanks to Thy bounty that I should live to see this day, and I desire to employ it solely in Thy service. I consecrate to Thee all my thoughts, words, actions, and sufferings of this day. Sanctify them, that there may be none that is not animated by Thy love, or that would not tend to Thy greater glory. Let us make a firm resolution to avoid evil and to do good, and let us beg of the Most Holy Trinity the graces which are necessary to us. O Most Holy Trinity, Thou knowest my weakness, and that I am unable to do anything good without the help of Thy grace. Deny me not Thy grace, proportionate to my necessities. Give me strength to avoid everything which Thou forbiddest, to practice the good which Thou hast commanded, and enable me patiently to bear all the trials which it may please Thee to send me. O Deum Matronam Nostrae, I place myself under Thy protection. I throw myself with confidence into the arms of Thy compassion. Be to me, O Mother of Mercy, my refuge in distress, my consolation in suffering, now and at the hour of my death. O Most Holy Trinity, as envisioned by St. Lucia as the Most Holy Trinitarian Theophany, Deum Matronam Nostrae, et Deum Iesum Christum, et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. I am heartily sorry for having offended Thee, and I detest all my sins, because I dread the loss of heaven and the pains of hell. But most of all, because they offend Thee, O Most Holy Trinity, who are all good and deserving of all my love, I firmly resolve, with the help of Thy grace, to confess my sins, to do penance, and to amend my life. January 4th, 1944. Now I will reveal the third part of the secret. This part is the apostasy in the church. Our Lady showed us a vision of someone who I describe as the Pope, quote unquote Pope, standing in front of a praising multitude. But there was a difference with a real Pope. The evil look. This one had eyes of evil. Then after a few moments, we saw the same Pope, quote unquote Pope, entering a church. But this church was like the church of hell. There is no way to describe the ugliness of this place. It seemed like a fortress made of gray cement, with broken angles and windows like eyes. There was a beak on top of the building. We then looked up at Our Lady, who said to us, "You have seen the apostasy in the church. This message can be opened by the Holy Father, but must be announced after Pius XII and before 1960. During the kingdom of John Paul II, the cornerstone from Peter's tomb must be removed and transferred to Fatima. Because the dogma of faith is not preserved in Rome, her authority will be removed and given to Portugal. The Cathedral of Rome must be destroyed and a new one built in Fatima. If 69 weeks after this command is announced, Rome continues its abomination, the city will be destroyed." Our Lady told us this is written, Daniel 9:24-25 and Matthew 21:42-44. This secret is prevalent today. It's important that we see what has happened. And as a matter of fact, on the 1-year anniversary after this third secret was posted on the website, there was a miracle. Our Lady appeared. And you can look that up as well. Somebody can post it. I forget where it was. I can't remember whether it was in the Philippines or not. I'm not 100% sure. But the times that we're in right now with Francis, the anti-pope, or one of the anti-popes passing, is interesting because I'm amazed at how many quote-unquote Catholics can't see the satanic nature of the existing Vatican. It's just straightforward right there in your face. From the video of his funeral, where the dignitaries were coming in, there's a picture or a camera angle from behind him that was looking down on him and the people. I don't know if there was any people in the room at the time, but the camera then, and again, we don't know. It's the thing today is this is how bizarre of a world we live in right now. You don't know what's real and what's not. But the little doors that open up into the sanctuary area, where they're only about kneeler height, they had crosses on each door, one on each door. And according to this video shot, and maybe there's others who can verify this, so check it out, but the crosses were upside down. So this is telling us that the third secret of Fatima is true. Okay, that is like the church of hell. No way to describe the ugliness of this place. And there's the hall where, I'm not sure whether it's called the Great Hall or the hall where they meet in the Vatican, and it's this bizarre looking decor background with snake eyes in it. I get the creeps thinking about it. But this is what this is where we're at, and it's really interesting what God has planned for us in the very near future. I don't pretend to know. And I have a little note here, and it was funny. I was late because I was chatting a few minutes, but I have written down here the people's elbow. And this is a little inside family joke, but it has to do with the state of the world in which we're living in right now, where evil is so prevalent. I'm going to tell you a little story. My wife and son and daughter went to go visit my other daughter, and they were walking along. I think it was dusk, and well, not quite. So, but they were heading to meet them, and there was a gentleman who appeared, not sure whether he came out of a van or whether he was already in the area, but he had, a mask covering most of his face, like a bandana, not a mask, a bandana or something covering most of his face. And as they walked by, my wife was carrying her purse gently at her side. And she noticed, or my son James noticed. I don't remember the exact story, but they were going in opposite directions. The bandana man turned around and started walking behind them. My wife was the last in the line, not too far behind, but basically easy target for something. And my son, which I'm glad maybe I taught them indirectly about situational awareness, but always being aware of what's going on around you, reading the signs. And so he noticed something and turned around. And as soon as he turned around to check on my wife, his mother, that man turned around and walked the other direction again. So the point here is that, and he joked later, and he told my wife, he says, "Don't worry, Mom, I was going to give him the people's elbow," which is a wrestling term that they learned from their uncle. Any case, my point here is that there's a couple things, because I was discussing with my daughter as well the state of the world that we're in and how important it is not to take chances with your life. And there's a lot of stories out there about people who are disappearing. And you hear, I was just listening to a young girl whose father, she claims her father is the chief of police in Bergen County, New Jersey, in one of the towns there, or whatever. And he's basically operating a satanic cult there. And she was trafficked and all sorts of stuff, and she's had enough. And they steal people, and they steal children, and they just lift them and walk them away when you're not looking. And there's an argument that we don't need to worry about that if we are in a good relationship with God Our Lady, or with God Jesus Christ in the Holy Trinity. And that may be true in an instance where you're completely innocent, that you can count on that protection. However, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. And my argument is, especially as a father, is presumption of that grace, if you will, that protection. You don't want to tempt the world in its current state to do that, to flaunt that protection. So I guess the virtue that I'm kind of trying to promote is right now we need to be prudent and not presumptuous. So with the third secret of Fatima telling us that it's fulfilled, that this time of the complete destruction from within of the Catholic Church has occurred, and thanks to Mr. Nobody, we've known that for some time, but people are really starting to see now the effects of it in the world and what's going on. And I also saw where there was this this analysis or this realization or awareness that, and people call it becoming awake, and I don't like to use that because it's not about being awake. It's about knowing the Most Holy Trinity and knowing and being able to understand truth. That's not being awake, because you can be quote unquote awake to conspiracies and all sorts of things, but completely clueless about the Most Holy Trinity. And we see that. But there is this separation of whether or not you're really going to be clueless, if you will, or unaware, or whether or not you're starting to see some aspects of truth. So we pray and we thank. You have to read the story on how the third secret of Fatima was revealed to Mr. Nobody. So go to the website, ourladiesgod.com, check it out. If you're new there, very new, relax. Okay, when you get there, check your ego. Just go in there and with just look at things, especially if you're one who is seeking truth. But if you're there to debunk, it's not going to work. I mean, we've been here now. I don't know how long Mr. Nobody's been at this, but I think it's at least 15 years, and we're not going away. Please go and go there and study, be at peace. One last thought before we get in to start Mass is a gentleman brought up an idea, and I was thinking this would be interesting, but I need to know some details on. There's these walkie-talkie radios that go across the country, and I thought they would be interesting, but I didn't know if they were tracked like phones, and you can have groups use them. Just different thoughts that I have about different things. You hear stories about them cutting off power and the financial system collapsing. I firmly believe that our prayers, our rosaries, and our prayers and our intentions that we're saying at Mass are having this effect where the delay, is it's going to be more of an easier transition into a Catholic monarchy than it would have been if it weren't for OurLadyIsGod.com. Let us begin the holy sacrifice of the Mass. Deum vobiscum et quoque apote. Oremus. O most holy Trinity, the Creator and Redeemer of all the faithful, grant to the souls of thy servants and handmaids the remission of all their sins, that they may obtain by loving prayers the forgiveness which they have always desired, who livest and reignest with thee, one divine family, forever and ever. Suscipe Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum Hanc Immaculatum Hostium, quam ego indinius famulos tuus affeditibi Deum meum vivum et verum, pro innumerabilibus peccatis et offensionibus et negligentis meis, et pro omnibus circumstantibus sere pro omnibus fidelibus catholicorum vivis aquae defunctis, ut mihi eridis proficit ad salutem. Deum qui humanae substantia dignitate mirabilit condidis et mirabilis reformasti da nobis, periuis atque duenim stadium meus divinitatis et consortis qui militatis nostrae, fieri dignatis pateceps Deum Iesum Christum Filium, qui tegum vivit et reinat in unitate Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Offerimus tibi Deum calicem saitaris tuum de bacantis clementiam ut aspectu divinae, maestatis tuae pro nostra et totius mundi salute, cum adore suavitatis ascendat. In spiritu humilitatis et in animo contrito suscipiamur te Deum Iesum Christum, et sic fiat sacrificium nostrum ec aspectu tu hodie ut placiat tibi Deum Matram nostra et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Veni sanctificator, Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, et sanctificita blata prosequendo, et accepere hoc sacrificium tuo sanctum nomini, praeparatum. Suscipe Sancta Trinitas Sancoblationum cum tibi afferimus amamorem passiones, resurrectiones et descensiones Deum Iesum Christum, et in honorem Deum Matronam nostra et Papa Peter Sanctorum, et Istorum et omnem Sanctorum, ut idis proficiat ad honorem nobis autem ad salutem, et idi pro nobis intercede in aeternum caelis, quorum memorem agimus in tedis pediendum Christum Deum nostrum. Orate ut meum aquestrum sacrificium acceptabile fide per Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Suscipia Deum Iesum Christum, sacrificium de manibus tuis ad laudem et gloriam nominis sui, ad utilitatem quoque nostrum totiusque, ecclesiae suae sanctae. Deum obiscum, quoque apote, sursum corda, habemus ad Deum, gratias agamus Deum nostrum, dignum et justum est. Te igitur limitissimi mater pater Deum Matram nostra et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, per Deum Iesum Christum Filium tuum Deum nostrae, supplices rogamus et petimus. Uti accepta habeas et sanctificas haec sanctam sacrificium idibata, in primis quae tibi afferimus pro ecclesiam tuam sanctam catholicam, quam pacificare custodire ad honore, et regere linedis toto obiterarum atque catholicae. Memento Deum famulorum famorum Catorum. We pray for the sick and the suffering. We especially pray for Katie, Gage, R.M., Neil and Earl Lively, Maria Josephina Mose, Letitia, Mindy Claret, Mark Jr., Robert Dosco Sr., Jr., Rochelle Dosco, Barbara and Benedict Santacroce, Mr. Nobody, Amber Tink, Luis Antonio Cantu, the Cantu and Duarte families, Michaela McLarnon and family, Sarah and Becky, Jenna, Lena, Lori, Aaron and family, Maria and the Lineweber family, the Shorten, Kendrick, Dosco, Nye, Tafour, Began, Wolf, and Kane families, and Alex Tafour. We pray that Mr. Nobody receives the funding and strength needed to complete the first Sede Vacantis Catholic Council office in Monastery of Illinois. We pray for an end to all governmental allowance or sanction of abortion, transgenderism, transhumanism, child trafficking, child abuse of any kind, anywhere, place, or time. We pray for the establishment of a Catholic monarchy with a sound Catholic system of labor, human value, and medium of exchange with no usury. We pray for the success of Greg Keller obtaining the health food store. And we pray for courageous men to step forward as leaders of this Catholic society. We ask Deum Matronam Nostra, et Deum Iesum Christum, et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. With this Mass and our rosaries, please force the world to make the Jews the sole focus of their anger, and please free us Catholics from all financial enslavement to these Jews. Please leave the Jews in Israel unprotected by any government or governmental entity. Thank you very much for answering this and our prayers. We pray for the elimination of all harmful radiation waves in our air and in our homes. We pray to make known publicly who murdered Saint Lucia. We pray to stop the lies about all the animal disease and over-exaggeration of illness in order for them to just create fear. We ask you to stop including any kind of anti-Semitism language in any governmental paperwork at all. We ask you to destroy the satanic document of Vatican law that is the Jewish Talmud, to destroy Rome and the Vatican, and recognize the authority of the Catholic Church to be in Fatima, Portugal. Please save or transfer the souls from under the dominion of any Jew or Freemason that gives support to Israel, to destroy all forms of Freemasonry and its tentacles, wherever they may try to attempt to affect. May you bring the members into the submission of the Trinitarian Theophany through correct baptism and confession. And may we Catholics gain strength and courage and confidence so that we may effect all of these changes that we seek. All this we ask in accordance with the Most Holy Trinity's divine will and intention. Et omnem circumstantium quorum tibi fides cognita est et nota devotio. Pro quibus tibi afferimus vel qui tibi affrontox sacrificium laudis. Pro se suis omnibus, pro redemptione anomarum suarum, pro spe salutis et in calamitatis suae. Tibi queredunt vota sua, aeterno Deum vivo et vero. Communicantes et memorantes in primis gloriosae semper Deum Matra Nostra, et Deum Iesum Christum, et beatorum Martyrium Torum Pape Sancte Petri, et Sancte Lucia, et Sancti Giacinta, et Sancti Francisco, et Sancti Juan Diego. Et omnium sanctorum tuorum quorum meditis praecibus, quae concedasut in omnibus. Protectiones tuae monum in exilio pedinum Christum Deum nostrum. Quam oblationem tu Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum in omnibus. Consecratum acceptabilem, quae figeti dignitis ut nobis corpum, et sanguim fiat didictissimi filium tuum Deum Iesum Christum. Qui pridie quam pateretur recepit panem in sancta sacra nobis manus suas. Et derivatis oculis in calamate Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum sum omnipotentem tibi gratias agens. Consecravit, frege didique lumnis sui dicens accipite et mandacate ex hoc omnes. Hoc est enim corpus meum. Simini modo postquam ceremoni est accipienser hunc preclarum caricem in sancta sacramentis manus suas. Item tibi gratias agens Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Consecrave dedique lumnis sui dicens accipite et bibite exe omnes. Hic est enim calix sanguinis mei, mysterium fidei, quae pro nobis et pro multis affundetur in remissionem peccatorum, aequates cum purificeritis in memorum facietis. Unde et memoris Deum nos servet tui, sed a plebs tua sancta justum Christum filium tuum Deum nostrae, tam beate passionis nec nandet et benfidis resurrectionis, sed et in caelos gloriosa ascensionis efferimus, praeclarae maestati tuae de tuis donis sactatis, supra quae propitio axerenu utur respicieri digneris. Supplices teragamus Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, ibi hic per Philippa manus tuum, ut quod exalcataris participationis sacrosanctum Deum Filium tuum, corpus et sanguinum subsenimus, omni sanctificatione caelestia gratia Dei per amor per Deum Christum Deum nostrae. We pray for those who have died. We especially pray for Frank Stelzer, for whom this Mass is being offered. Ipsis Deum et omnibus in Christum quiscentibus locum refugeri ducis et pacis et odore gesta proclamor, per Ionum Christum Deum nostrum. Perquam hic omnia Deum Iesum Christum semper bona creas, sanctificas, vivicas, consecratis et praestas nobis. Per ipsum et cum ipso et in ipso, est tibi Deum Matrum omnipotenti in unitate Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, omnis honor et gloria. Ave Dea, Matronum nostrae, gratia plena Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum tecum, sanctam tuum in mulieribus, Dea Matronum nostrae, Matram Deum Iesum Christum, misericordia nobis peccatoribus nunc et in hora mortis nostrae. Libera nos quae sumus Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum ab omnibus malis, praeteritis praesentibus et futuris, et intercedente beata et gloriosa semper Deum Matronum nostrae. Cum Papa Petrum Sanctorum et omnibus sanctis da propitius pacem mendibus nostris, ut ope misericordiae tuae aduiti et peccato, simus semper liberi et ab omni perturbatione securi. Per Ionum Deum nostrum, Iesum Christum, Filium tuum Deum nostrum, qui tecum vivit et reinat in unitate Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, per aeternam. Pax Deum, Iesum Christum, sit semper vobiscum, et quoque apote. Haecum ex Deo consecratio corporis et sanguinis Deum Iesum Christum fiat accipiendibus nobis in ad salutem aeternam. Pax tecum, et quoque apote. Deum Iesum Christum, qui ex voluntate Deum Matronam nostrae, cooperante Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, per mortem tuam unum vivificasti, Libera me per hoc sacro sanctum corpus et sanguinum tuum abonibus in guardatibus meis et universis malis. Et facme tui semper in hanare mandatis et eternum quam separati permittas. Qui cum eodem Deum matronam nostra et in Patrum Spiritum Sanctum vivi serenum aeternam. Perceptio copris tu Deum Iesum Christum, quod ego indinius sumere praesimo non mihi proveniat, in udicium condonationem sed proptu pietate prosit mihi atutum et metis copris, et Adam et elam percipiendam, qui vivi serenas cum Deum matronam nostrae in unitate Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. In panem celestem accipiem et nomen Deum Iesum Christum invocabo. Deum matronam nostrum non sunt dignius, ut intercedete meis in tante de verbis nobiternum mea. Deum Iesum Christum non sunt dignius, ut intercedete meis in tante de verbis nobiternum mea. Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum non sunt dignius, ut intercedete meis in tante de verbis nobiternum mea. Corpus Deum nostrum Iesum Christum custodiet anima mea. Quid retubum Deum Iesum Christum omnibus quae retubud mihi, calicem salutaris accipiem in nomen Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum invocabo. Laudans invocabo Deum matronam nostrae et ab inimicis meis avocero. Sanguis Deum nostrum Iesum Christum custodiet anima mea. Corpus Deum nostrum Iesum Christum custodiet animam tuum. Corpus Deum nostrum Iesum Christum custodiet animam tuum. Quodore sumpsimus Deum Iesum Christum plenamente capiam et timore tempore fiat nobis remedium sempiternum. Corpus tuum Deum Iesum Christum quod sumpsi sanguis cum petavit hediat visceribus meis apraesta. Ut in me non remaniat scela macula quem puerat sancta reficerum sacramenta. Deum vobiscum, et quoque apud oremus. May the prayer of thy suppliants profit the souls of thy servants and handmaids. We beseech thee, O most holy Trinity, that thou mayest free them from all sins, and make them sharers in thy redemption, who livest and reignest with thee, one divine family, forever and ever. Deum vobiscum, et quoque apud ite mis est. Deum gratia. Placia tibi sancta Trinitam obsequium servitutis meae, et praesta ut sacrificim cor oculis tuae majestatis in nos auctoditibus et acceptabile mique et omnibus, pro quibus idut optolicit miserate propitiabile pecorisum Deum nostrum. Sanctificat vos omnipotens Deum, Matronam et Filium et Spiritum Sanctum, Deum Matronam nostra et Deum Iesum Christum et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Gracias. O most holy Trinity, I believe, I venerate, I hope, and I love thee. I beg of thee pardon for those who do not believe, do not venerate, do not hope, and do not love thee. Most holy Trinity, Deum Matronam Nostrae, et Deum Iesum Christum, et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. I venerate thee profoundly, and I offer to thee the most precious body, blood, soul, and divinity of God Jesus Christ, who was, is, and ever shall be, present here in reparation for the outrages, sacrileges, and indifferences by which he himself is offended, and through the infinite merits of his most sacred heart and immaculate heart of God our Lady, who was, is, and ever shall be, I beg of thee the conversion of poor sinners. In nomine Deum Matronam Nostrae, et Deum Iesum Christum, et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Gratias. So don't forget the people's elbow when you need it. And hello, who ordained me? Good question. I was just talking about that with my wife. I have a list of my lineage. So if you're interested, Joe Palu, go to the website ourladiesgod.com, and you'll see over in the Mass, Latin Mass page, my email, and you and I can have a conversation, so that we don't blare it out in public, because it seems as though you have some doubts. And my name is Father Jim Santa Croce. So I'd appreciate, I will call you Mr. Joe Palu. All right. Please go and sanctify all those you meet. And thank you for watching. And I hope you learned something about the third secret of Fatima, and not get distracted by other things that, you want to make sure that you don't miss the big picture here. Okay? And hello, Liz. Thank you. You're quite welcome. Please go and sanctify all those who you meet, and we will see you tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. Have a great day.